Get out of my way!
You're always so angry.
Caledonia, get back here.
Hello, I'm back. I think I'm still not 100% sure that I am actually back. So if anybody can confirm it in the chat that I'm back, I don't know if this is the one that was supposed to be going on live, or if it's switched to a different one. It seems I've got 12 viewers at the moment. So I don't know if this is the one that was originally supposed to go on or this was a new one that happened. Right. But it's all good, right? Okay. So there's only a few people in tonight, I think. About 12 people or something. I usually have a wee numbery thing up there that tells you how many people are in the chat, but it's not there. And I'm not worrying about it too much. Over here it looks like, I don't know, I've got about 12 people in or something. Anyway, because there's only 12, the first thing I was going to say probably wouldn't matter very much, but I'll say it anyway. You had to refresh to see it. Ah, right, okay, Caroline, right. I think, there's 18 watching now. All right, Dave, that's a bit better than 12 a second ago. I screwed up, but I'll blame the gremlins, right? The gremlins did it, okay? It was the auditors, they did. Things are taking me well. I'm in a new place, as you can see, from my last live stream. I'll talk about that in a minute. Bit of housekeeping before we start. Toilets are over here, refreshments here. Right, the wee bit of housekeeping I was going to do when I started tonight, which with 18 viewers, I've got 18 viewers, I might not have to do, but I'm going to do it anyway, and I might have to repeat myself, or maybe one of my team of moderators. I've got a four-man team, I think it's a four-man team or a four-person team of moderators in tonight, because I'm not sure if any of the auditor or auditor fanboys would come in and try to troll a wee bit or cause mayhem and chaos, which I don't mind free speech, I'm all for that. But what I didn't want people to come in and hijack the chat or to start making offensive comments. Not that I thought they would, but I just thought I'll get a few more mods in, just in the off chance, just to be on the safe side. So if there are any auditors or auditor fans in the chat tonight, you're more than welcome here, and I believe in free speech, and you'll be allowed your free speech in the chat here. The only thing I would ask is please don't say anything that is offensive, and I know that's subjective, because what's offensive to some people aren't offensive to other people, but I'm talking about things like racism, misogyny, sexism, transphobia, homophobia, every phobia you can think of, things like that, right? I'm not up for that, and if you do anything like that, the mods will probably give you a warning, and if you persist, they'll hoist you out or put you in a timeout or something like that. And the second thing is, I'll be talking a little bit about auditors tonight for a few minutes, maybe not, but that's not what this show's about. So if you've come in here to hear about auditing or to hear about me going on about certain auditors or that, then you're in the wrong place. I wouldn't be doing that. That's not what I do. I will explain why I made an auditing. Well, I didn't make an auditing video, but I'll explain why I made the video that kind of exposed a particular auditor. I'll come to that in a bit later, right? So that's the housekeeping out the way, I thought. So anyway, if auditors or auditor fans, if you're in tonight, you're welcome. I expect you won't stay long, because this might not be the stream for you. This is more about drones and not necessarily the legal use of it, but maybe the proper moral use of it, maybe, I don't know. I suppose that's a contentious issue as well. Right, okay, so that's the first thing, right? And I think, because I've got the long COVID, my memory is a bit short. Right, so anyway, I will move on to my next point on my agenda, but before I do that, apologies for not having my usual intro. I had a few seconds of it, and I'll put a few seconds back on.
Get out of my way!
You're always so angry.
Caledonia, get back here.
Okay, so that's what you missed tonight, because I was busy fighting the gremlins off. Okay, so, right. Where have I been since my last live stream, I attempted one last week, as you know. I'm off a low down, aren't I? Normally when I make my videos, if you watch the video earlier on today, you'll see I'm sitting up here somewhere like that, right? Because, you know, I like to be professional when I'm creating a video, and I like to be a bit more laid back when I'm doing a live stream. So I'm back in this chair that collapsed on me, and I'm lower back. And there's my t-shirt tonight. That's what I do. That's what I do. I drink and I know things, right? I don't know that much, but I know some things. Okay, so where have I been? It's been a week since I attempted a live stream, but before that, I think it was December last year that I had my last live stream. So since then, I've moved house, right? I've bought a little flat, and because we're doing a lot of my wife and I are doing a lot of renovations to our house, a lot of renovations. We were without a toilet for 4 months, which meant we had to run round to her mother's or go to Tesco, the Tesco toilet, and it was pretty horrendous. And now we're without a kitchen. So I couldn't handle it anymore. It was too much for me. So I bought a little flat, right? And you think, oh, you're always bleeding poverty. How could you buy a little flat, right? I bought it a long time ago, and I had it. I just temporarily moved here while we're doing the renovations. So I still see my wife almost every day. Anyway, right, so that's what I've been doing since December. I also returned to work full time when was it? Was it November, December? No, I can't remember when it was. No, it was January, end of January. I returned to work full time because I'd been off for 6 months with long COVID, as a lot of you will know. It hit me really badly, and I still haven't fully recovered, right? My brain doesn't work as well as it used to. But I had to go back to work for various reasons. So that's why there hasn't been a lot of I haven't been pushing out a lot of videos. There's certainly not as many as I used to, because I had the house move back into the wee flat. I've returned to full-time work, and the long COVID, it's hit me physically as well. I can't go wandering up the hillside, up the glens and dales and all that kind of thing the way I used to. I'm just not physically capable of it, and I'm slowly working my way back to it. And that's why you're probably, for the next wee while, you're probably going to be seeing a lot more videos where I'm actually indoors doing videos, and just a little bit of outdoor stuff too mixed in with it, like the video that I had on today at 4 o'clock. If you haven't seen it, why did you not watch it, right? It's not a bad video. It's about the SDK. If you haven't watched it after this live stream, you can go and have a look at that if you like. And it's about the SDK. Well, I filmed most of that in here, sitting down here, but more upright. And I just patched in some of the previous video that I've taken. Fortunately, I've got a big catalogue, and I've got a lot of videos that I can call in. So looking ahead, I'm going to be trying to get back out. Also, the weather's been horrendous. You know, you don't get much of a chance to get out. I mean, it's sunny in the morning. By the time I've packed all the gear up, get ready to go out, the clouds have come over and it's starting to rain. So the weather has a lot to do with that as well. But I'm hoping to get back out quite a bit more in the summer. Okay, anyway. So that's where I've been, that's what I've been up to, and tonight's live stream is just really a way of getting back into the whole live streaming thing, because it's been December, January, February, March, April, 5 months since I've done one, and stepping straight back into it's a bit scary. You know, I don't know how many of you actually live stream, but it's there's a lot to it, and it can be quite scary, and I haven't done it for 5 months. So I'm just gently getting back into it tonight. So I hope you'll bear with me. And many viewers we had 18 last looked, probably down to about 6. Oh, we're up at 42. That's no bad. So I won't repeat myself about the auditor fans and orders. If there's any fans of auditors in, you're more than welcome. Please enjoy your stay here, and let's all get on like a big happy family. Right, okay, so before I move on to the other wee bit in my agenda, which I wrote for last week's show, this agenda is for last week's show that didn't happen, so it's now a bit out of date. It's a week out of date, but a week is a long time in the drone world, so this is a bit out of date, but I will be referring to it, and I'll be talking about a few other things as well. But I want to have a look at your comments now. and I'll answer any questions that people have been asking. Now, I have to scroll back because there's been quite a lot of comments, so I'm scrolling back to the beginning as much as I can, and I'll go through, and hopefully I can still pop some up. I don't know if I can or not. Let me try. Right, that didn't pop up, so okay, we've got a wee problem there. So let me just do a quick this, and a quick that, and quick that, and boom, and hopefully I should now be able to pop up. There we go. So, good evening, Lynn. How are you doing? My first pop-up of 2023, I believe. Right, so that's the pop-up working there. So I'll say a few hellos. A hello to Wind Vision Aerial. There's Simply Scotland Gary. Gary is one of the mods for tonight. He's kindly stepped up. There's Mark Sullivan, mod number 1, primary mod, has just become a member. Mark, I thought you already were a member, and I tried to somehow gift Mark a membership because he's been my mod for a while now. But you can't do that for some reason. I don't know too much about YouTube, as you know. I'm working it out as I go along. I've only been doing YouTube for 2 years. That was a terrible impersonation of somebody, but I'll come back to that in a minute. Right, so anyway, Shefflet Outdoors, good evening to you. Good evening, Windswept Robert. How are you doing? How are you doing, chat? Right, there's Caroline, who already mentioned my paper dollies. That's Caledonia, right? My Mini 3 Pro. That is Lassie, my Mini 2. Now, they're not retired. They're just in there because I thought, I don't want to use the green screen anymore. The main reason is because when I used green screen before, it started doing the max headroom show. You know, I was glitching. And I think that using the green screen was having to use a lot of processing power. So I decided I'd go for a little... a more aesthetically pleasing background, I suppose. So that's what these two little drones are doing, up their droids, whatever you want to call them, are doing. And my wee bonsai, it's not a mirror, my wee bonsai tree there. All right, and you're still up on the screen there, Caroline. Right, so this Stream Elements bot was run, that was ages ago. Right. Dave, how you doing, Dave? Dave had a question way earlier on this afternoon. He was asking whether, and maybe some of you guys, I hate that, you guys, maybe some of the people in the chat tonight could help Dave with his question, which is, he's thinking about buying a wide-angle lens from DJI for his Mini 3 Pro, I believe, and he wondered, is it worth it? I think it was, 20 quid or 30 quid, Dave, something like that. And Dave's wondering if it's worth it. Now, I've already done a video where I tested the wide-angle lens from Freewell against the normal lens, but it was when I still had the focusing issue, and a lot of it's out of focus. So I'm going to redo that video as soon as I get a wee break in the weather. I'm going to go back out and redo it, and I'm going to do a comparison with the wide-angle lens from Freewell versus the normal lens. And I said to Dave, if you hold off just for a week, if you can, I'll get out and make that video again, update the one I did, which was rubbish. And that'll maybe give you more of an idea. But if there's anyone in the chat who has got themselves a wide-angle lens for their Mini 3 Pro, might want to chat to Dave and let them know what they think about it. Right, so that was Dave. And there's Gary, as I said. Did I say Gary stepped up to the plate to be one of my mods tonight, just in case we got a troll attack and things got out of hand with our friends from the auditing community. Right, okay. Mark posted a link to this one, which is great. I wouldn't have known how to do that, Mark. I suppose the other one's still up, but people who are watching the other one are just watching a static screen at the moment, probably. So I'm probably not going to get as many viewers internet as I could have done. I've got 50, that's not bad. I could have had probably a few more if I had not ballsed things up. However, this is the way. Right, when hello everybody just coming in. Yeah, you've not missed anything because it was a late start tonight because I cocked things up. Or the Gremlins did, or somebody did, I don't know. Right, there's Graham. How you doing, Graham Lindsay? Everyone at old one, but Mark put up a new link. I know it. Mark, you're a star. Thanks very much for doing that. I don't know if everyone will read it or not. People will probably be really annoyed at me for, oh, you didn't go live again, when eventually I did. Right, okay. There's George. Oh, there you are. Aye, George, I don't know where I am. I've got no idea what's happening. Mark's helping me out with letting people know where I am just now, but I don't know. Right, drone shots, hello. Right, border drone seekers, up with Brian. Oh, you just popped back, didn't you, Brian? Brian, hello, how you doing? Rach McLaughlin, hi Robert. Hi, how you doing, Rach? Morpheus sleeps. There you go, Martin. Yeah, I know. People hopefully will see Mark's link and find me. There's Gerard McGlinchey. Nice to see me back. I am back, kind of, Gerard. Hopefully I'm back on a regular basis, weekly, now that I seem to be slowly ironing out the gremlins and getting things together somewhat. So hopefully I'll be back. Hello, Jock. SNP have a spare minivan, by the way. I think it's still fairly pricey. Right, there's Alpeshingo. It's a new name to me, don't know. Alright, it's flowing down. Derek passed. There's Derek. You need good editing programs with wide angle lenses. I've never worked out properly. I don't know if you're talking about the what Dave Cullen was asking about wide angle lens with on his mini drone or not, or whether you're talking about me just now and I need a wide angle lens, Derek, but there you go. Tanya, how you doing? Nice big smiley face. Hope you're alright there. And right, Mickey Moo, wouldn't buy anything from the DJI store. Too many bad stories. I don't know. I've heard a lot of really good stories as well from people buying from DJI, and I've seen more positive stories about the customer service from DJI than I have negative stories from DJI, from people about the customer service at DJI. So I don't know. Right. Okay. Right, Cyril, good evening, how you doing? I'm alright, I suppose. I've screwed my clouds, hello, we're nearly there. Jim, hello, most of my filters are freewheel, no issues. Yeah, I the very first set of filters I ever bought was a set of Skyreet filters, and they're very good, right? They have a wee issue, but they were good. But then Freewheel sent me some, as they do with almost every YouTube creator that creates videos for drones. Freewheel will send you through videos and say, it's videos, they'll send through filters and say, here's some free filters, please make a wee video reviewing these. So I've got a lot of Freewheel filters. I've actually got a lot of Freewheel filters that I've tried out and I'll never ever use. They're more creative, things with gold lines on them and fancy different things, and I probably won't ever use them. So what I think I will do is, and they're unopened, some of them are unopened, I'll maybe even do some giveaways in the next couple of weeks. I'll have a look at some of the Freewheel filters I don't ever use, and I'll do a giveaway. And I'll do a giveaway probably to someone who will be able to create a review video and send it to me, so that I can say to Freewheel, thank you for sending me these. I have given them to someone and they have created a video. Yeah, that would be good. But I'll have a think about that, and I'll do that maybe over the next few weeks, because I've got quite a lot through there that I don't use. Right, Tanya says someone has a new drone. I don't know who that is. It's obviously somebody in the chat up there somewhere. Look, that's pointing out. Someone up there has obviously got a new drone. Well done. It's not me. These aren't new drones. I'll have to learn how to do that a bit better, won't I? These are not new drones. That's just my Mini 3 Pro and my Mini 2. Right. Status Stevie, hi, how you doing, Stevie? Stevie stepped up to the plate tonight as well, and has stepped into the moderating role for this chat tonight. As I said, I wasn't worried, but I thought, in case I get a troll attack from the Auditor fans, let's be prepared with some good sturdy mods who can deal with that and let me just talk a lot of nonsense. And so Stevie's popped up as well. Thanks for that, Stevie. Nath DJI, hi, how you doing? Right, I think I've said hello to just about everybody. Doug Curry, didn't say there. Right, but there you go. So we're kind of on to it now. I've caught up with the chat, and Doug says, you were right, Robert, the SDK release does indeed seem a big disappointment. Hope you talk about it more tonight. Well, okay, Doug, I will then. I I knew the SDK was coming for the Mini 3 and the Mini 3 Pros. Probably many of you did. Or I knew it was going to be announced. And they said that it was going to be released in Q2 of 2023. That's the second quarter of 2023. Well, we're now into the second quarter, right? January, February, March. April, second quarter, the first month of the second quarter, right? And that's why I said in my video earlier on today that it's round about now. I think it has actually been, it has been announced. I'm not sure, but what I do know is, and I've done not much research, but the research that I've done is that, and I said this in the video earlier, that the apps from like Litchi and Maven and all the ones that I mentioned, Rainbow and what was there, Drone Link, there's a compatibility. It's not a compatibility issue. It means that you cannot use, if you have an app like Litchi app, for example, if you already have bought and downloaded the Litchi app to use with your Mini 2, you can't use that particular version of the Litchi app with your Mini 3 Pro, the new one. They haven't developed it yet, but when they do, you won't be able to use that. They'll have to develop a brand new one because it's version 5 of something or other, the SDK. It's a version 5 rather than version 4, which was the previous one. So all of the app developers are going to have to create from scratch brand new apps for the Mini 3 Pro to allow you to use their apps with the Mini 3 Pro and the Mini 3. It's going to take a bit of time, as I said in my video, and there's going to be a cost to it. You're going to have to buy a new app. Now, I don't think they're that much. If I remember off the top of my head, the Litchi and the Maven apps are in the region of £20, and it's not a subscription. You buy that. You buy it and you've got it. The Rainbow one I tried and didn't like it. It's a subscription platform, so I wouldn't be using it. And the Drone Link one, they will have their version ready sooner than the others. They are actively developing it now, I believe. But as I explained in my video, there are a lot of issues that you'll have to contend with. And I'm not going to repeat myself tonight. You can watch the video that I released at 4 o'clock today and see all of that. So I don't think there's much more to say about that, Doug, about the SDK, other than it's not necessarily a disappointment. I think people's expectations were much higher than they should have been. Not necessarily than they should have been, but their expectations were very high because of the SDK when it was released, allowing Litchi and Maven, etc., to create their apps for the Mini 2. So people's expectations were that, as soon as it's released, we will then get these apps for the Mini 3 Pro, and we'll be able to do with the Mini 3 Pro what we can do with the Mini 2, and that's not the case, unfortunately. So that's all there is I have to say about that for the moment. There are plenty of YouTube videos about this new SDK release. I wanted to create one that just cut everything down to no jargon, no technical words, nothing complicated, because some of them that I were watching, some that I watched were complicated and technical, and I couldn't really follow what was going on. So I thought, if I can't follow it, there's probably a lot of people like me who can't really understand what these guys are talking about. So I thought, I'll create a video in my own style, simple, like me, and see if I can just simplify things so people understand more about what's going on with the SDK. And I think I achieved that. I think the video did that. If it didn't, let me know, and I wouldn't do anything. I'll just move on and make my next video. So there you go. So I hope that answered that wee question you had there. Right. Well, Nath, I think it's Nath. I hope I'm pronouncing that Nath. Nath. Do you think they will allow the DJI RC controller to work on the Mini 2? No, I don't think so. No, because I think, I'm probably wrong in this, but as far as I'm aware, the DJI RCN1 is built with OcuSync 2, and the RM330, which is the RC, the one with the screen, is OcuSync 3. So you can use the lower one, like you can use the Mini 3, the RCN1 with the Mini 3, but you can't use the Mini 2 with the RM330 because the Mini 2 runs in OcuSync 2 and the RM330 is OcuSync 3. I could be completely wrong, and the man to ask is probably John Blair. And I don't think John's in the chat tonight. He was going to be my fourth mod, but he had some gardening work to do. His wife insisted. So I don't think John's in tonight. But he's the man to ask. John knows all the technical things. His channel is Blair Air. And if I ever have a technical question about anything, I always go to John. He knows. He'll tell you the answer, but sometimes I can't follow his answers. But for those of you who have a technical mind and understand these things, you know, John's your man. Right, so that's my take on it. Nath, I think it's Nath, short for Nathan, probably. Right, I will move on to my. In fact, yes, we're past the half-past mark already. I don't want to run over a few minutes, even though I started a few minutes late, for the same reason as always. I'm not going to encroach on the Drone Seekers International live chat, which happens at 8 o'clock. And if you haven't gone over and watched theirs before, when this one's finished, if you fancy it, go over to the Drone Seekers International live chat and watch that. It's always fun. You get a bit of a laugh with those guys. They're quite good. So, right, I see there's no more questions. What's this? RS Mickey Moo, potting plants versus Windswept. That's potting plant. That's a bonsai. Right, okay. Anyway, enough of that now. Let me move along with my agenda, which I wrote last week for last week's show, and it's now out of date, but I'll move on with it anyway. Right, firmware updates, right? You remember I made a video which was, people have said it was a piss take of some other creators. I'll just mention them: Gavin HR, DM Productions, and Matthew Brennan, who's now changed his channel to the Drone Creative, I think he's called now. I wasn't taking the piss out of them at all. These guys know a lot more than I do. They've been doing it for longer than I am, and they're much more professional than I do. I wasn't taking the piss at all. It was more what is that thing when you do, when you have a little joke, but maybe not at someone's expense, but it's... Anyway, I wasn't having a dig at them at all. But I've got written down here, I love that DJI keep introducing new features, right? So we're talking about the new feature, the tripod mode, that everyone was going, whoa, this is so fantastic. And it's great, it's brilliant, it's wonderful. And I thought, what are you talking about? It's nothing all that special. In fact, it could be detrimental. So I love that DJI keep introducing new features, even if it's a feature that I don't think is particularly good, right? I love that they will keep introducing new features, because someone's going to find a feature that I don't find useful. Someone's going to find it useful, and probably many more people than I would ever have imagined will find that new feature very useful. I just don't think that I will. Having said that, there have been things that I have said, that's rubbish, I don't think that's very good, that's going to be no good for me, and I have discovered that I was completely wrong, and whatever it was I was talking about was useful for me. But I've made a video about it and told you that I was wrong, and I'll do that. I'm quite happy to do that. So if it ever comes to the point where I'm just wiggling about a wee bit, if it ever comes to the point where I have discovered that, see this tripod mode, this slowing everything away down so that you can use your full stick but only move slowly, if that ever becomes really useful for me, I'll make a video about it and say, I was wrong back then, because it's great for this. Right, okay. I just couldn't see what made it absolutely awesome, right? So I wasn't having a dig at those creators, right? And some of them may be your favourite creators. Some of them you might not like very much at all. I don't know. I just want you to know I wasn't having a dig at them. But I'll have a dig at anybody I want to, right? If I want to have a dig at somebody, I will. I'm not scared. I'll do that. Right. My third agenda point was the SDK for the Mini 3 Pro, but I've spoken about that as well. So Doug, you preempted agenda point number 3 for me. Thanks very much for that, okay? So I've already spoken about that and I won't be speaking about it again. So we're going to fly past agenda 3. Let me have a quick glance down here at the thing. George says banter. Is that the word you're after? Well, it was banter, but that's not the word I was looking for. Before I had long COVID, my vocabulary was huge and I could bring all of the words that I needed to bring out instantly. Now, George, I can't. There's a lot of words that elude me that would have sprung off of the tip of my tongue before. So no, that's no exactly the word that I meant. It's an homage. There you go. Let's say it was more, rather than a piss take of those 3 great creators, it was an homage. Is that the right word? I think it maybe is. If there's a linguist, a cunning linguist in the chat, you can let me know if that was the right word or not. I think it was. Okay. Hi from Ireland, there's Kenny. Hi, how you doing, Kenny? Oh, the weather's nice over there, nicer than it is here the now. Although I did manage to get a wee washing out this morning, right, for half an hour before the rain started. Scotland from above. Scotland from above. I watched one of your videos earlier this week and I liked it. It was good. I can't remember what it was because the long COVID memory shot, but I remember I saw it and I watched it and I thought, that's a good video. There you go. Right. Oh, there, I'm going to repeat what Mark has just said. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Is that the right? Oh, it is. Look, there we go. Thumbs up. So if you could, I didn't even know you could hit a thumbs up in a live thing. Thanks, Mark. So if anybody hasn't hit that thumbs up, why not? What's wrong with you? Why you don't hit the thumbs up? All you have to do is hit that button. It's not going to hurt you. There you go. So yeah, hit that thumbs up. Cheers, Mark. Okay, Carolina, it can't be me you're talking about here when you... Oh, that's good, Kenny. When you say you caused a debate among the masses, obviously you're not talking about me, because I couldn't cause a debate amongst a mass of cats, to be honest with you. So, right, anyway. Right. Friendly sarcasm says stuck. Aye, I suppose it is. I am a sarcastic little chappy. But I've got no malice in me. I suppose I have. It's buried deep down inside. And I'll talk about that in a minute. That's coming up very, very soon. I'll talk about the malice that I hold inside me. Right, but before time runs away with us, how do I get rid of that? Where are you stuck? Right, before I get rid of that, ribbing. Yeah, there you go, ribbing. Aye, I suppose so. But you know, I don't think any of those 3 creators took any offence. If they did, none of them has said anything. I mean, Gavin had a wee comment saying that, oh, you might have, watched my video and given me a thumbs up, left a comment, which he was right. And I immediately rectified that by giving him a thumbs up, watching his video, which I did watch because I lifted portions of it. I was just so caught up in the editing that, that passed me by. But no one else has reached out to me to say, who do you think you are? Which is a bit of a surprise because the amount of people that I think I piss off in the YouTube world, and I don't get complaint. People don't complain. Well, one person complains about me, and I'll come on to it in a little minute, right? One person does. So before we come on to that person who doesn't like me very much at all, I want to bring up a comment. It's going all horrible here. I can hardly see it now. But there was a comment that Anthony Dyer put up. Let me see if I can bring it up there. Can I? Yes, right. And Anthony said, have you heard anything from the police or other officials since this episode 5 months ago. Now, the episode he's talking about is when I was visited by the police. Anthony says, I've been put off buying a drone due to all the ignorant do-gooders, but then I was tempted after seeing that the 249 gram drones are exempt from buildings and people separation distances. And now I see this interaction. It's chilling. That's the one with the police at my door. He goes on to say, I read that some places have signs up saying that drone flying is not allowed. Glenfinnan Viaduct and pretty much all NTS land. And yet under the Land Reform Act and Outdoor Access Code, drone flying is a recreational activity. So such rules violate our rights to peaceful enjoyment of our hobbies. Now that's an excellent comment as far as I'm concerned, and I'll tell you why. I have mentioned this before previously. Let me take a wee sip of my beer.
I found this on the web.
Nobody asked you, shut up. Right. Right, I'm drinking the light beer because I'm trying to lose a bit of weight. The answer would be not to drink any beer at all, wouldn't it? Right. So Anthony makes a lot of good points in this one little comment. I've spoken about this before, but I'm going to mention it again for everyone in the United Kingdom. It's of interest, and it's probably of interest for people outside, but not particularly pertinent. I've still got a decent vocabulary. Scotland has a set of rules that are very different. Well, it's got one rule and one law in particular that's different from England and Wales and Northern Ireland. And it's the Land Reform Act. I think it's 2003, the Land Reform Act. And that gives us Scots the right to walk anywhere we like, even on private land, right? We can cross fences, we can cross hedges, providing we don't damage them, right? And we can walk and go anywhere. Not only can we walk anywhere, we can set up a tent and camp anywhere we like. The exceptions to this are that we can't do this in a garden, we can't do it adjacent to a building, and we can't do it somewhere like a school or a hospital. We can't do that. But that basically gives us the right to go anywhere and do anything. And it also allows for recreational activity. We can perform any recreational activity on any piece of land. And that includes drone flying. So in Scotland, we are not as restricted as you are in England. It brings up the Glenfinnan Viaduct area, where the landowner up there, I forget his name, but the laird who owns the land round about the Glenfinnan Viaduct, he doesn't own the viaduct and he doesn't own the land 10 feet either side of it, because that's owned by ScotRail, which is public. It's owned by us, by me. I own it. It's mine. So I can do what I like there. But he owns the land round about it. And he has signs up saying no drones, and he's even pinned drones up. I've made a video about this. He's even nailed drones up onto a post saying no drones. And he has a couple of signs saying if you want to fly a drone, you can't. You're not allowed to. But if you phone this number, and it's his mobile number, and he's got you transfer 10 quid into his bank, he will then give you permission and you can fly it, right? Now, a lot of people fall for that and they phone him up, pay the £10 and then fly. But you can fly anyway. The Land Reform Act 2003 in Scotland allows that. We can go anywhere and partake in any recreational activity, including drone flying. So there you go, Anthony. Don't worry about it. I don't know, you're probably not watching, but I think I left a comment reply to Anthony. But for anyone else who's interested, particularly in Scotland, you can go anywhere. Set up a tent if you like, right? A sleeping bag, pitch up, you can sleep there and you can fly your drone. The Land Reform Act allows for that. If you live in England, I'm sorry, you do not have the Land Reform Act 2003. You have other laws that dictate where you can fly and where you can't fly. Oh, by the way, this doesn't include flight restricting zones like airports and prisons. Of course you can't fly in those, right? But in Wales, it's the same law as England. In Northern Ireland, I believe you are the same as England and Wales. But if I'm wrong, that's fair enough. You can let me know. So anyway, so that was a wee point I wanted to raise, and it's a bit out of date, like I said, because he asked about the police coming to my door, and he was worried, and it's put him off buying a drone. Don't let it put you off buying a drone. Get your drone, fly it anywhere you like, and don't let anyone try to stop you, right? Now, that brings me to auditors. Robert, you're being a real hypocrite there, aren't you? You're sitting there saying you can fly your drone anywhere you like and nobody's going to stop you, but you just made a video about a guy who's flying his drone legally and lawfully, and because he gets stopped, you're ha 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 and all. Right, you hypocrite. Maybe so. I may be a hypocrite. I may not be. I will explain my reasons for making that particular video. But before I do, I want to have a look at the comments. Let's see. Right, I'll scroll down a wee bit. Dave says he got aggro for a guy at the beach a few weeks back. I was 40 feet above him for 3 seconds. He was going mad. Dave, if you don't mind, I'm going to relate the little chat. I wouldn't post it up here, but I'm going to relate from my memory the little chat that we had on Facebook Messenger about a few incidents that happened to Dave. Dave's a photographer, right? And he's a good, really good photographer, and he had some fantastic pictures of. I'm probably going to get this wrong, Dave, but up in Edinburgh at one of the harbours or the docks up there, he had pictures of, I think it was Royal Naval ships. And while he was taking these pictures, he wasn't on the Royal Naval landing, and he was approached by some, I think it was Royal Naval personnel, telling him that he couldn't do that and he wasn't allowed to, and blah, 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 blah. And Dave continued and just did it. Right, and I'm going to be making a video about that with Dave's permission to show the difference between an auditor who's telling someone it's their right to fly and they're going to fly, and someone like Dave who was there to fly and capture that footage, and he was approached by someone else and said, "Oh no, I'm doing this anyway." There's a massive difference there, in my opinion, and the difference is. And it's obvious. The difference here is that Dave went out with one purpose in mind, and his purpose was to capture photos, pictures, and maybe even a wee bit of drone footage of those ships and those boats that could not otherwise have been taken. There's no way that those particular images could have been captured other than by using a drone. So that was Dave's purpose. He went out there for that purpose. The auditors go out, and they may do the same thing. They may want to fly over an industrial site or a scrap merchant's, but their aim isn't to get the footage from the scrap merchants or the industrial site or the pictures. Their aim is to antagonise the personnel at that area so that there will be a confrontation which they are filming with multiple cameras, and they can then put that confrontation as the primary part of their video onto YouTube. So that's the difference between someone who goes out and flies and when approached says, "I'm here to fly, I'm legally entitled to do it, I'm just going to do it," and someone who purposely goes there to antagonise someone by telling them, "I'm going to fly a drone," right? If, for example, let's say PJ Audits, who I recently did a video on, let's supposing he was actually really interested in the recycling plant and the machinery at the recycling plant, and he wanted to get some footage and pictures of it. Let's suppose then that was the truth. It's not, it was a lie, but let's say that was the truth. What would he have done? It's obvious. You all know. Everyone knows. He would have started nowhere near the site. He would have found a quiet place out of sight of the scrap merchants. He would have flown his drone up to 50 feet, 100 feet. He's got a good zoom on the Mini 3 Pro. He would have flown over, taken his pictures, taken his footage, landed the drone and gone on his merry way without a soul even having known he was going to be there. Is that what he did? No. What he did is he walked right up to the site and started to antagonise the personnel by telling them, He was going to fly a drone. He was taking pictures. He was entitled to do it. It was his right. He was in a public place and he was doing it. So his intention, his motive was not to get pictures or photography like Dave's intention was. So that's why I'm not a hypocrite when I say I'll fly my drone anywhere I like. Because my intention is not to go out and purposely wind people up and use that as the main part of my video. So that's one reason why I decided I'm going to create this video, just to expose what the reasoning behind these videos are, why it's nothing to do with the drone footage, it's nothing to do with the pictures, and it's all about the confrontation and why it's wrong. It may be legally, maybe lawful for them to do what they're doing, but it's also lawful if I wanted to park my car right across someone's driveway, providing there's not a car in it, and leave it there for a week. I'm lawfully entitled to do that. Okay? What you can't do is, if there's a car there, you can't block someone in. But if you park right across an empty driveway, you're entitled to do that. Is it right? Am I okay to do that? Should I go out and find a driveway that doesn't have a car in it and park across it and wait there for the guy to come back and pull up a camera and say, it's my right to park across your driveway and you're not going to stop me from doing it, and film that when I'm doing it? I'd be lawfully correct, but it's wrong, isn't it? That's how I feel about the auditors. What they're doing might be lawfully okay, but it's wrong. And they shouldn't be doing it. So, there you go. And here's the other thing. They talk about their right for free speech, their right to do what they want. It's my right to make a YouTube video about whatever I want, providing it's within the bounds of YouTube's rules and whatever it is you call them. You know what I'm talking about. Their code of practice or whatever it is. Providing I stay within that, I can create a video about anything I want. So, there you go. So, and here's the final reason why I think I did it as well. I don't know if I did it for this reason or not, but I maybe did. I got a message through a couple of weeks ago saying that PG Audits has a live stream, and when he's on, he goads all of his followers to come onto your videos, your comments, and your live stream and slag you off. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know, because I've never watched a live stream of his. I've never read a comment on his channel. The only time I ever look at his videos is when I think I'm going to take a piece of that, and create my own video. But that kind of didn't get my back up, but I thought, oh, is that right? Well, I'll just make a video about you. And so I did. Right? So anyway, that's the reasons behind why I made the video. Look at that, it's six minutes to finish, and I've got a couple of things left on my agenda, so I'll get to them. Before I get to them, what I will say is there are probably a few questions that have been asked in the comment section here that I haven't answered, because an hour goes past very, very quickly, as you know. What I will do is this week, at some point this week, I'll go through the comments that I haven't answered, and I'll make another short video just answering the questions, the comments that haven't been answered. So don't worry, don't get on to me, don't start leaving me hate mail and emailing me, telling me you're going to kill me and stuff because I haven't answered your question on here tonight. I will answer it. It'll just take me maybe a couple of days, all right? Maybe a few more days than normal, because I'm now working 9 to 5 again, 5 days a week. Excuse me. So I'll do that. Okay? Right. I'm just going to finish off with auditors, right? I've mentioned her channel before, but I'm going to mention her channel again, and that's Natalie. She has a channel called Exposing the Auditors. The last time I gave a little push for a channel, I think she had about 200 subscribers. She's now up to 800 subscribers, okay? Now, I'm not saying I had anything to do with that. The reason I'm telling that is because our channel's really good. It's quirky, it's very good, and it's called Exposing the Auditors, so you can guess what it's about. She specifically targets auditors from her area. I think it's Leeds, I'm not sure. But she has recently been targeting an auditor called Marty Blackborough. I think that's how you pronounce his name, Marty Blackborough, right? And Marty Blackborough has now been convicted of a few crimes, right? And he will be joining two of his fellow auditors who are criminals in the jail. So he's going to be either joining them or he's going to get some kind of tag in order like that. So if you want to follow the fate of some, I think it's Leeds area auditors who are absolutely criminals, then go over to Nat's channel, Exposing the Auditors, and have a look at that. Graham, if I can click that up, I'm clicking it in the wrong place. I think I can click it here. Boom. Did that come up? I can't. Oh, there you go. Graham, thanks very much for that super chat. I forgot you could do these super chat things. If anybody fancies giving me a super chat, I'd appreciate it. Graham, thanks very much for that. That'll go towards my new chair. I don't know if you know, but while I was doing a rehearsal for the video earlier on, that this chair collapsed back. It sometimes sits up like this. It collapsed back, and I nearly ended up in my backside. So thanks very much for that, Graham. I don't know how to get it back down. There we go. Right, so a couple of minutes to go. Oh my God! Right, running out of time. Right, here's the thing. I have, as you know, I've got my two girls here, right? And I've also got my big bruiser laddie, my DJI FPV. He's not up yet. I haven't worked out where I want to put him. I had 3 batteries. That's the battery for the DJI, a big hefty thing. That's probably as heavy as Lassie. Right, that's the big hefty battery that you get with the DJI FPV drone. I've got 3 of them. This one, for some reason, I haven't used them much. They've only got about 20 or 30 cycles on them. When I plugged this one in, it suddenly was red. I just get the one red light on it and it stayed red, and it now it's like it won't do anything. I can't charge it up, can't do anything at all. I suppose I should contact DJI and see what they've got to say, but I thought before I did that I'd ask if anyone knows what's going on and is there a way to fix it, because you know, I've still got two batteries, which gives me a good 20 minutes flying time, and I don't fly laddie very much anyway. Because you need a spotter and Eddie's not always available. But if anybody knows what's going on with that, let me know, right? And the other thing I did want to say, but I can't because I've lost the items, I'm going to be selling a few things on eBay. A Rode Wireless Go 2 and a couple of other things. And I just thought if you wanted them first, let me know by email. But I don't have them here to show you. But if you're interested in a Rode Wireless Go 2 and another wireless system, I'll let them go cheap to anyone who emails me. Right, but I can't show you them because I don't know where I put them. Right, I think that's what. Let me have a quick look in your chats, Graham. Your thing is blinding the whole screen, right? I don't know what that means. No one pisses off on YouTube. Don't have a clue what that means, Kenny. PJ Fraudits. There you go. Right. I was going to say something. Aye. So he obviously is annoyed at me, but screw him. You know what I mean? He's out annoying people every single day of his life, right? And putting their faces up on YouTube whether they want it or not. So screw him. Right. Just before we go, we've got just over 60 seconds. I want to say thanks to the guys who stepped up to the plate tonight at the last minute's notice, and decided to, not decided to, but mod for me. Stevie Elder, Gary, Mark, my steadfast moderator, and John Blair. John's not. I don't think John was in tonight because I said his wife made him go and do some gardening. But thanks very much, guys, for stepping up to the plate at the last minute and being here just in case we had any trouble. I don't think we did have any bother. If there was, I didn't see it. I will be going through the chat later on to answer any comments that I didn't answer, and I'll probably see if there's been anything going on then, but I don't think we did. So anyway, that's about it. Thanks very much. I will be back next week and I'll be a bit more switched on. Things will run a bit more in time, a bit better, and I'll see you then. I hope everybody stays well and I hope the weather's good for you to get out flying a bit. So thanks very much for tuning in, and I'll see you next week.